Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered on this lovely Thursday. We're almost there. So today, I want to talk a little bit more about what's going on with the Title IX changes because, here on the show, I talk a lot about the left's, for as much as they like to say Republicans on their war on women. Well, this is, of course, the real war on women coming from the left. They said that so many years ago. I think little did we know that was just their projection, apparently, of what they planned to be doing a decade later to women. So we've been talking about the latest Title IX rules from the Biden administration that leave our girls in this country who go to public schools just completely defenseless from males not only dominating their sports and destroying their scholarship chances, but also, of course, by males showing up in their private spaces, in their locker rooms, in their changing rooms, in their bathrooms. By, of course, how the Biden administration is doing this is redefining what constitutes sex-based discrimination in schools to include gender identity in the definition. And by the way, those who don't use somebody's preferred pronouns would be in violation of the new Title IX guidelines, according to the Biden regime. I would ask if they had ever read the First Amendment, but I know the answer is no. So to be clear, this leaves young females in this country completely vulnerable to having their rights assaulted, either having to expose themselves while males are in the room and they're uncomfortable, or, potentially having a male expose himself in her presence, which, by the way, shouldn't be lost on you that we used to call that indecent exposure. That was a crime that you could be arrested for. Now it's just like at a Planet Fitness locker room near you any given day of the week. Remember the Me Too era? It wasn't that long ago that it was the left that was pushing this Me Too era. You couldn't look at a woman wrong without being accused of all sorts of things. It really was not that long ago when the left used to pretend to care about protecting women. And I just keep thinking, God, how far we have fallen. The left has completely abandoned protecting women and women's spaces. But I have some good news, on the horizon. At least one state official is fighting back. His name is Ryan Walters, and he is Oklahoma's superintendent of public instruction for the state's Department of Education. And after the Biden regime's attack on girls in schools was announced, what he did was he sent an official letter to all public school superintendents instructing them not to make any changes to their policies based on the latest Title IX guidance, saying, I believe these rule changes are illegal and unconstitutional. They violate the First Amendment, the Administrative Procedures Act, and longstanding civil rights protections for women and girls. The USDE, Department of Education, has not been given the legislative or judicial authority to redefine sex. And then please do not make any district policy changes based on the new regulations. These federal rule changes are illegal, and making policy changes before the courts come to a definitive ruling on the legality of these rules could put your district out of compliance with other current and legal state and federal statutes. I believe this is the way. And I would like to welcome to the show Ryan Walters himself. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Sara, thank you very much. I appreciate your fight on this. I appreciate you fighting for conservative common sense here. And I want to say, by the way, thank you for pointing out the fact of they're absolutely wanting to be the language police here, too. I haven't heard many people talking about that, so I'm so glad you brought that up, that they could absolutely utilize federal government resources against you legally for misgendering a student. That is absolutely part of this. So I really appreciate you bringing that point up, too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so preposterous to me that we are living at a time where, you are trying to tell a young child that they're looking at a biological male and they're saying, yeah, I said he because it's a biological male. And you're telling them to lie, to not say that what they know to be true, to lie, to make someone feel more comfortable. It's just crazy to me. So what has the response been from the school administrators over there in the state of Oklahoma?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The initial response has been a lot of them thanking me, a lot of them telling me how much they appreciate it, because what we have seen so many times is, hey, the Department of Education has an edict and states just fall in line with it. And I'll be honest with you, Sara, not only should states not comply, not only should states fight back, we should send a loud, resounding message to the Federal Department of Education. You guys shouldn't even exist.
Yes.
President Reagan said there shouldn't have been a federal Department of Education. President Trump said he wished he would have done away with the federal Department of Education. And I firmly believe him that he is very, very direct that there's not going to be one in his second term. And so you've got this rogue agency that's out there. This is the agency that brought us Common Core, DEI, and now radical gender theory. That this is all being pushed by the federal Department of Education. Locally, you've got your teachers union apparatus that forces and intimidates school officials to abide by it. And so our states have to fight back. Our states have to be crystal clear. And again, here in Oklahoma, hey, we're a red state. I've had a lot of superintendents go, thank you so much. We saw this. We were, legally, we were concerned. But hey, we said, we'll take on any kind of legal burden. I dare Joe Biden to come down here and try to make us do it. I would love to see him show up in Oklahoma and try to make us do that.
Oh, I would also love to see that happen. So you say, and I completely agree with you, we need more state officials standing up and saying, absolutely not in my state, not on my watch. Here we protect females. Let me say that loudly and resoundingly. And I want to ask you, why do you think that we're not seeing more people? Because this seems like such an easy decision. You are talking about protecting half of the population of their schools in a typical, public school to not hurt the feelings of a teeny tiny fraction of people. And I'm like, is it because the squeaky wheel gets the greased and they're the loudest and they're the maddest and everyone's a little bit scared of them, I guess? Why do we not see this more?
I agree with that, but I'm also going to tell you a dirty secret in education that I know you know because I've heard you talk about it many times on your show. Even in red states, so much of your education system is controlled by Democrats and the teachers union. Yeah, when I came into office right here, we are a very red state. I fired 130 employees from this Department of Education because I came up here and it was a bunch of left-wing bureaucrats that were trying to block families' rights from being protected, parents' rights. They were in here just carrying the water for the teachers union. They did not want to allow school choice. They wanted to push and embed indoctrination in everything that we were doing. I said, no, you guys go work somewhere else. Not going to happen here. And again, I even had liberal Republicans in the state blasting me for firing so many people. And I go, guys, what do you not understand about a conservative in office? We are not going to allow a left-wing apparatus inside government to undermine our agenda. But I'm going to tell you, even in red states, the teachers union have tremendous control. They own a lot of education bureaucracies. And so, hey, you've got education officials that go, I don't want to touch that. I mean, I know that the Administrators Association, the teachers union will come after me. But it is time for some clarity in education. Republicans have been fighting to get parents' rights back. You've got to speak boldly and clearly, and we have got to break the union stranglehold of our education institutions.
Did you ever think that we would be sitting here in the year 2024? Like if someone had told you 10 years ago, Ryan, in 2024, this is going to be your position, and you are actually going to have to defend why it's unacceptable to expose young girls to biological men in their most vulnerable spaces. Like, could you ever have predicted that we would have gone so far off the reservation on this?
No, I mean, what you see here is, to your point earlier, is you had these, liberal Democrats that used to claim they were for women's rights and equality. And what you've seen, though, is the most radical elements of their party have truly taken over. I mean, you hear it from President Biden. You're going, why in the world would you put girls in danger? And I'm going to be very clear on that. It is putting them in danger. We had a boy enter into the girls' restroom here in Oklahoma, assaulted 2 girls, broke their orbital bones. I mean, a vicious assault because a boy identified as a girl that day went in the girls' bathroom, got into a fight. That you are putting girls in danger. But their ideology trumps common sense. It trumps, keeping people safe. It trumps girls' and women's rights. I mean, it's amazing to me. I mean, wokeism really is a mind virus. It rots your brain. It makes you say things and do things that are completely illogical. And the Democrat Party has just lost it by listening to this radical element of their base. And this is where we have got to get the country back on track with President Trump back in the White House. And we've got to take back our schools through our boards and our education institutions. We conservatives, we've got to get in there, run the liberals out of town, run the bureaucrats out of town, and let's get this back on track. And what I've been telling states is we have got to take back power from the federal government when it comes to education, eliminate the federal Department of Education, get power back to the states. And then states do like we're doing in Oklahoma. you give that power to the families, give it to the parents. So take power from the feds, bring it back to the states. States put education where it belongs, in the hands of our families.
Yeah, I could not agree more, Ryan. Can you come? What do I have to do to get you to come to Texas? Can you
Hey, I would
you
love to
handle
come
it
down
here?
and meet with you in person. I would love to do
No,
that.
I want you to be in charge of education here. We need some help here in Texas. I know everyone's like, oh, Texas is the bastion of freedom and liberty and no crazy stuff in schools. Whatever happened in Texas, wrong.
And Sarah, I mean, I've been following the school choice debate. Hey, down in Texas, we got to get school choice over the finish line. There's no reason that every red state shouldn't have school choice. I mean, we have got to be able to allow parents to move their kids to the school that they want. But even further, I'm going to tell you, Sarah, one of the secret things we've done here is it's just doing the hard work. Hey, we pass conservative laws. I'm going to tell you, Sarah, we enforce it here at the Department of Education. If a teacher breaks our critical race theory ban, we pull their teacher's licensure. They can go get another job. They're not going to work in our schools. If schools push critical race theory, diversity, equity, inclusion, gender theory on our kids, we hold the school's accreditation at risk. They won't be an accredited public school anymore. We are not tolerating this woke nonsense in Oklahoma. We are getting our schools back on track, and we absolutely will not back down to a woke mob.
Well, I appreciate you making the state education in Oklahoma extremely based. I think that more officials in your capacity in other states should follow suit, and I appreciate your boldness and your willingness to protect females because, to your point, very quickly, to your point earlier that, all of these school administrators are going to you and saying, we appreciate it. I think that sometimes it takes the one person to stand up and say, no, we're not going to do this. And then everyone was like, oh, thank God, because I really didn't want to do that. But nobody else wants to get up and say it. And so I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad that you are protecting females in your capacity. Well done, sir.
We've got to have more courage. Churchill said courage allows all the other traits to be possible, right? And so we have got to stand firm. We have to stand boldly. And again, leadership matters. If you will show those signs of we're not going to back down, Joe Biden, no, we're not going to. No, you can threaten us all you want. We're not going to allow it. You've got good people in the states, families, parents are watching. We have got to continue fighting for our kids.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Oklahoma's State Superintendent, Ryan Walters. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right, thank you.